Hi friends, and welcome to this French Makeup Masterclass. Thank you so much for joining me. Today I'm going to be creating a realistic natural French makeup look. The French makeup look is not about the red lipstick, but it's all about feeling comfortable in your skin. I have customized today's makeup look to be suitable for the summer months. Make sure to wear sun protection. It's really important for your skin. And let's go ahead and get started. If you're new here and if you enjoy beauty talks, please take a moment to subscribe. I would love to welcome you to our beauty community. And if you're returning, welcome back, beautiful friends. I'm so happy to have you here. Let's get started. Since this makeup look is going to be focused on the summer months, I am going to show you my French beauty routine, French makeup routine. So usually I'm going to start in the morning by brushing my hair thoroughly. I'm going to take my time, and I really like this brush. I think that they are available worldwide. It's really nice if you have long hair because it can take the knots if you have any, and it helps very easily to brush the lengths of the hair. So I'm usually going to spend a little bit of time, depending on how much time I have actually, but I'm always going to use this brush first to get the lengths of my hair, and after that I'm going to do a second brush of my hair using a brush that is suitable for the scalp. So I'm really going to get into the scalp with this hair, with this brush, not with this one, because the bristles here are quite sharp and they're not suitable for the scalp. And I'm usually going to enjoy this moment a little bit. I love brushing my hair. And then something during the summer months, I usually never style my hair. As you can see, it's quite long and it's actually quite wavy. So I can make it curly very easily. I can't really, to make it straight, I have to use a straightener, so I don't like that as well, but I really enjoy brushing my hair. Then currently I like to use the Kerastase oil, the new one, and I'm usually going to use 1 pump of this oil, or even half a pump, just to add my hair a little bit of softness and shine. I really like this hair mask from Guerlain for the summer months because it's very expensive, but I like it because it helps my scalp and my hair as well, and it really makes a difference for me. This is the Double R mask, and I use it on the scalp and on the lengths of the hair. So that's why it's worth it for me. I have been repurchasing this mask since it was launched. And then when I blow dry my hair, I'm usually going to use this cream from Nuxe. So on a daily basis, I'm either going to use a smallest amount of this Nuxe leave-in conditioner. This is also a heat protectant, or the Kerastase oil. Not both of them, but either of these is going to work, and today I used this one only. We're moving on to my skincare, and for serum I'm going to be using my favorite serum. This one is from Lancome. A lot of you have seen this, and it's repurchase. I really like repurchasing this one. This is the Renergie Triple Serum. It's quite gentle to my skin, but I find that I love using it, especially in the summer months, because I find that it makes my skin more resistant to the sunlight. When I use it versus when I don't use it, I see a difference in how my skin reacts. My skin is very sensitive to sunlight, so I'm always going to use this one in the summer months, especially if I'm spending time outside. For my eye serum, I'm going to use the same serum from Lancome, just it's designed for eyes, but it's not really necessary. I like to keep my skincare routine quite simple and light in the summer months, so I'm not going to follow with a moisturizer. I'm going directly into my SPF. And for sunscreen, today I'm going to be using the Lancome Renergie SPF 50. This one is a new cream, and it came as a gift with purchase. It is a small size. As you can see, this is a big size. This is not the SPF, it's just their day cream, which I use as well. But I just wanted to show you for comparison. So this one came with a gift, as a gift with a purchase from Lancome, and I really like the SPF. It's quite rich and it's somehow smooths the skin. So I really like it, but it's so incredibly expensive for an SPF, let's face it. And I don't usually go for such expensive SPFs because SPF is a product that you use often, you tend to reapply. So other SPFs that I like to use and that I use often But keep in mind that I'm based in Europe, so these are going to be, there might be some differences in the US. The Lancome one is the same in Europe and the US. Another SPF that I really like, and this one is a lot more budget friendly, this is the Avène SPF 50. It's against blue light, it's the ultra fluid. This one does leave a little bit of a white cast, but I like it because my skin is quite pale, and it somehow, I always find that it helps to even out the skin tone a little bit. And then another completely transparent one, which I love to wear when I'm wearing makeup specifically, is the Ultraviolet SPF 50, the hydrating facial sunscreen. And then I have others from Ultraviolet as well, but probably this one is my favorite. I also love the La Roche-Posay sunscreen, so whatever you choose, just make sure that you're wearing sunscreen. After applying the sunscreen, I'm usually going to make a little break so that it can soak into my skin, so that I can have a more even makeup application. In the meantime, I'm going to use a little bit of body oil. I really love body milk, actually. What I'm talking about. This is a body milk from Guerlain, and this is the Mon Guerlain perfumed body lotion. I really, really adore this one. It's so delicious and so sophisticated, and this one pairs beautifully with so many fragrances. Actually, it has lavender, vanilla, and flowers, and it's very, very lightweight. A little goes a long way with this one. It leaves a very nice perfume trail. So I like to apply this one on my legs and on my arms, and just to feel a little bit better. And also this is a little ritual that I like to do. I'm just rubbing it into my legs. This is a little ritual that I like to do while I'm waiting for the sunscreen to soak in. Now we're moving on to base, and I'm going to be using probably this is one of my most favorite and most used products for the summer months. And this is the Dior Dream Skin Cushion with SPF 50. I love it because it's quite lightweight, and I'm usually going to use my fingers and just use a small amount here and there onto my face, because I don't like to use the sponge that comes inside, because you go into the cushion then to your face and it might pick up some bacteria, and my skin is quite sensitive, so that's why I like to just take some of the product with clean fingers and then use a sponge to blend everything. You can also use the sponge that is provided if you want to, but I find that this works better for me because my skin is sensitive, and every time when I use the sponge and start dipping into the cushion and back to my face, I think that I might start getting breakouts or I can't use up the whole product. Okay friends, and you can see now that my skin looks exactly like skin, and even when I get a magnifying mirror I cannot see that I'm wearing foundation, which is the biggest advantage of this cushion by Dior, and also the SPF 50. That's why it's my favorite for the summer months. Next I'm taking a dry sponge and I'm going to apply some powder. I'm using the YSL All Hours powder, which is phenomenal. It's really good for setting the makeup because it doesn't add a layer. I have the transparent one, but for summer months I would actually recommend the ones with the color. I think that they're going to be better. I'm just going to mattify my face to make sure that everything is going to stay in place during the day. Mattifying the skin is always going to be an optional step, and it depends on your skin type and how your skin behaves. Okay friends, I had to change my top because we had a coffee accident, a little one. Let me know if you prefer coffee or tea. I always have my coffee when I film videos and when I chat with you. So my next step is going to be Nivea lip balm because I want to prep my lips. I don't want them to be dry. And I want to share with you a few tips that I have regarding the base. This one is best for repairing lips. When you're aiming to create the so-called natural French makeup look, the face is going to be very important. The base that you use is going to be very important. The whole idea here is for the skin to look as natural as possible, without cakey foundation, without heavy coverage. We want to avoid the foundation gathering into the pores and emphasizing fine lines. And the easiest way to achieve that is by using thin layers of makeup products, especially in the summer months, because in the summer, in the heat, need. It's really hard for makeup to stay beautiful if you apply heavy layers of product. So try to use as little makeup as possible, just use it smart. Now this is the part of the face that people are always going to see first, and they are going to somehow focus on this part of the face. So here, if you have a lot of product, if you have a lot of foundation, it's always not going to look flattering. Make sure to pay attention to the nose because it is the face feature that comes forward. So people are always going to notice if you have a lot of makeup right here on the nose. Even use as little as possible makeup on the nose, and if possible, avoid the exclamation mark highlighting technique, because this one always kind of looks very makeup-y. But that's just personal opinion. If that's something that you like, of course, do it. Go ahead and do it. And then another tip that I have for you, don't apply foundation right here on the ends of the face and right here. Make sure that the coverage is very thin and almost inexistent, because people are not really going to notice this part, and it's going to look very light and natural, even if you have some pigmentation that shows through, or normally most of the time we're going to apply some bronzer right here, some blusher. So make sure to not use a lot of product here, because we can use some of the coverage that the bronzer is going to offer, or the contour. Next, a very important thing is going to be the under eye area. Avoid using too much product on the under eye area. Currently, I feel quite happy with my under eye area. It's not too dark, it's look quite natural, so I only used the cushion foundation from Dior, and it's enough for me. But this is a rare occasion. We just came back from a short trip. I was very happy. I slept well, I ate well, so I don't have much darkness to cover here under the eyes. If that's not the case, and this is not usually going to be the case with me as well, so if that's not the case, and if you have some darkness that you need to cover, make sure to use a peachy concealer right here in the inner corners of the eyes, and make sure to focus the concealer only on the place where you have the darkness. So this is usually going to be around here for most people. And you know, the majority of people are not going to have darkness here, so you don't need to apply concealer here. Some makeup artists are going to use some certain technique, so they are going to apply a peachy concealer here and then a lighter concealer here. That helps to lift the face. But if you are 25 plus, you most probably are going to have some lines here. So avoid using product here on this part and very close to the lash line, because it's always going to get cakey during the day. Also make sure to just look up and use a Q-tip to remove the excess of the product that gathers into your creases. That's how your concealer is not going to crease during the day. But maybe my biggest tip is going to be avoid using paler concealer here in the inner corners of the eyes, because it's not going to cover dark circles. It is only going to look paler and unnatural, but it's not really going to cover the darkness, and you're going to feel tempted to apply a little bit more product and then to add a little bit more to get the darkness and to cover the darkness. So don't use too much makeup. Use it smart. Now let's create a healthier complexion on my face. I'm going to be using a favorite product from Dior. This is the highlight and contour in, I believe it was 100. Exactly. This is Diorissimo, and I really love this one for contour or for just creating this healthy looking skin. So what I like to do here is I like to dip my brush in between the two colors and then focusing more on the bronzer. I'm taking everything on the back of my hand first before going to my face. And I'm going to start using it right here below my cheekbone, just to add a little bit of sculpting to my face. And I'm using a bigger brush. This one is quite fluffy because I want everything to be diffused. And I'm starting from around here. This is where the pupil of my eye ends, and dragging it upwards. I really like this product because it offers a healthy looking skin, and the highlighter doesn't have glittery particles. It's a very satin finish highlighter. The other colors from the range are not the same. Keep that in mind. I love Diorissimo. Next, I'm gonna dip right in between the two colors again, take it fast on the back of my hand always. And then I'm going to emphasize the blush just a little bit more. And I think that you can already see the difference here between this side and this side. This one is a lot more sculpted and a lot more beautiful, but at the same time kind of natural looking, slightly ethereal. This is all I'm going to do for now. Okay friends, and now on camera it might look as if this side is a little bit deeper. It's not, I promise. It's just that I have a very big window on this part. Coming with natural light, so that's why this side of my face might look slightly paler, but I love filming in natural light. I always like to make some tests before filming. It's quite accurate, but sometimes, you know, there's a little bit more shadow on one side. We're moving on to eyes, and you have different options here. You may decide not to wear eyeshadows. If you decide not to wear eyeshadows and just to apply mascara, just make sure that you do not apply concealer on the eyelids, because the concealer is going to gather into the crease and it's not going to look beautiful. So just make sure to avoid that. If you are going to apply some eyeshadow, it's good to use some concealer or eye primer, something to give you some grip and to make the eyeshadows actually pop and stay on the eyelid. Otherwise, if you don't use anything on the eyelids, the eyeshadows are going to look a little bit patchy and unnatural. I'm going to use eyeshadow, so I'm going to apply a little bit of my Guerlain concealer, just a small amount, and I'm going to blend it. If you have oily eyelids, make sure to use a dedicated eye primer. It is going to be better, or just experiment how it works for you. But for me, a concealer always works best, especially this one from Guerlain. It's quite lightweight. Here, if you're using an eyeshadow that is pigmented, make sure to apply also a little bit of powder, the smallest amount, onto the eyelid, because it's going to help the eyeshadow to blend more easily. And if you don't do that, it might get patchy, the eyeshadow that you're applying. And here it's all about the very diffused look, quite natural. We don't want harsh lines, so that's why I'm going to apply a little bit of powder. Now I'm going to take the same Dior palette and dip into the bronzer on the back of my hand first, and then I'm going to start sculpting my face. And I'm dragging the color outwards as well, because this is going to create the illusion that I have bigger eyes. And this is especially useful if you have small eyes. Make sure to drag the color a little bit outwards. But use a fluffy brush. And you should have applied powder on the eyelids beforehand, because otherwise you're going to get this patchy effect that I was talking about. I should have started by applying my eyeliner, but I forgot, so I'm going to do it now. I'm going to be using my Prada eyeliner in the color. This one is brilliant. This one is 04 Amber. I love the Prada eyeliners. So I'm going to start right from the end. I don't want to make an eyeliner just to create the illusion that I have slightly thicker lashes and more sculpted eyes. So I'm going to start right from the end and keep the eyeliner as close as possible to the lash line. You can see that it just starts to elongate my eye a little bit. And this is the effect that I'm looking for. Now, if you have hooded eyes, this is going to be really important. You want the eyeliner to be as thin as possible. And if you have hooded eyes, make sure that you're using really, really sharp eyeliner. This is going to help. And I'm going to lightly bring the eyeliner to the middle of my eye, but not in the inner corner. So I just want to use it, the eyeliner, to sculpt, but not really as an eyeliner. And do not worry if your eyeliner is uneven. You can always smudge it. If you feel like you have some edges, take a small makeup brush and then smudge it. Nothing is going to happen. We're not using the eyeliner as an eyeliner, but just to help sculpt the face. Next, I'd love to dip my finger between the two colors, and I'm going to place this on the center of my eyelid and close to the inner corner, just to add some light. And then again, I'm taking the same brush and emphasizing the brown a little bit more and correcting the shape of my eye So going a little bit on the mobile eyelid. Next, with a small brush, I'm taking the golden color and applying it in the inner corner of my eye just to add some light here. And then I'm going to curl my eyelashes and we're moving on to mascara. I'm going to be using the new Prada Scope Mascara by Prada Makeup, and this one has an interesting wand. It gives some length and it keeps the lashes quite natural. It is also buildable, which is something that I love. So this is exactly what I'm looking for at the moment. I want my lashes to be long, defined, but nothing too much. Also, the wand is quite small, so it allows me to maneuver my lashes the way I want to. Now, just for sculpting purposes, I'm going to use a little bit of the eyeliner on the outer part of my lower lash line. Then I'm using a small brush with a little bit of the contour shade, and I'm going to smudge the line, making sure that the line is softer. Now, one more time, I'm going to go back to my face and I'm going to use the Dior blush stick in the shade Toffee because I want to add a little bit of freshness to my cheeks. I'm going to use this product with a small brush, take it on the back of my hand and use that right here. And what this is going to do, you can immediately probably see the difference. It just adds a little bit of freshness as opposed to the whole bronzy look that I had. And also it's going to make my blush incredibly long lasting. Another tip that I have for you is always try to apply first your powder blush and then your cream blush, because that's how your blush is going to be set for the day and you're going to bring a lot of life to the face, as opposed to if you apply your cream blush and then mattify it with a powder blush. It's never going to look as beautiful, or you're just taking away the benefits of a cream blush, which is this beautiful natural looking glow and light reflection that these blushes give. And only with the tip and what's left I'm going to use on my nose right here to create this natural sun-kissed look. We're moving on to lips, and here it's all up to you what you feel comfortable wearing and what kind of a lip color you would like. Here with this look you can apply a red lipstick, a raspberry lipstick, or a pink lipstick, a fuchsia one. I want to keep it natural, and since I'm creating the natural French makeup look today, I'm going to keep my lips nude. One French makeup secret that I'm going to share with you: when you're creating a nude lip, make sure that the nude lip is always going to be a little bit deeper than your skin tone, a little bit deeper than your lips. Otherwise, if it's too pale, it's a little bit washed out, it's quite editorial look, and it doesn't look as flattering. I'm going to show you now. And if you're wondering how to choose the best nude lipstick, I have a video that you can watch right here. So what I'm going to do here, I like to mix lipsticks. Since my complexion is quite glowy today, I prefer to have a matte lip, but it's all up to you. I'm going to show you two different options and you tell me which one you prefer. So the first one is going to be my custom made nude lipstick. I love to use lipstick from Dior. This one is Beige Couture, and it's your typical editorial kind of nude lipstick. This one is quite pale. You're going to see now when I apply it on my lips. But I like to use this color for color correction and for color adjustment. So I have been using this shade a lot, not on its own, but as a base. And then I use different colors that are too deep for my skin tone, or I can't wear them for some reason. They're not as flattering, or I don't feel that comfortable with them. As a base color, I'm going to be using Beige Couture from Dior. This is the Velvet Formula. And then as a main shade, I'm going to be using, I believe this was called Rose Blue, so I'm going to make sure to write it in the description. And this is the most beautiful color. Look at this. It's stunning, but applied alone on my lips, it is too dark, it is too statement. And that's why I like to customize it for myself by using Beige Couture, which is too pale for the lips, but mixed together, And this is Beige Couture applied on my lips alone. As you can see, it's quite pale and it's not the color that I would wear. So I'm going to apply the other color on top. And this is going to be my custom-made lip color. I feel quite comfortable with this one because since my skin is quite glowing, I prefer to balance the lips and I prefer to have a matte lipstick. But I'm going to show you another option as well that I think is equally beautiful in case you prefer something that is more moisturizing and lighter for the summer months. I really like this color and this one works beautifully on everyone. This is from the YSL Love Shine lipsticks and it's 203. And this is the other lip color that I wanted to show you. This is the YSL Love Shine in 203. I think that this is a shade that is going to work beautifully on everyone, on fair skin tones, medium skin tones to deep skin tones. I think that it's one of the universally flattering colors. You can always put it in your handbag and reapply during the day. It feels like a lip balm, exactly like a lip balm. It's not oily, it's not sticky. It is a high shine lipstick and it's closest in term, the formula is closest to Rouge Coco Flash from Chanel. I think that the pigmentation of this color in particular is great and it feels amazingly moisturizing on the lips. So if you're suffering from dry lips, I would definitely recommend this one. I think it's beautiful. I have decided to use on my lips a color that has a little bit more cool tone because we have this natural looking bronzy skin and we need to balance this with something that's a little bit more rosy or a little bit more pinkish. If I were to apply something that is more beige or yellow toned as a lipstick, I would look a little bit washed out, not as well rested and not as fresh. So this is another tip that I have for you when you're creating this summer kind of makeup look with some bronzers and some bronzed colors. And with some contouring, definitely go ahead and use a lipstick that has a little bit of pink, a little bit of mauve, that has some cool undertones because it is going to make the complexion look a lot more fresh. Let me know which of the colors you prefer. And before I go, my fragrance of the day is going to be Nina Ricci, Nina Rouge Crush. This one is a beautiful floral cherry scent with cherry, gardenia, a little bit of bergamot. It has vanilla and sandalwood. It's quite fresh and nice. And it's also one of the fragrances that pairs beautifully with the Mon Guerlain body lotion. This one is slightly more fresh, but they both, since Mon Guerlain has this lavender, vanilla, jasmine, rose, it kind of gives off a little bit of a cherry vibe, where this one is more sensual, this one is slightly more fresh, and they pair beautifully together. So this is going to be my fragrance of the day. And then to complete the look, I'm going to wear a necklace from Idol. I have been enjoying a lot this piece from Idol. These are Marquise diamonds, and it's called Talia. This is so beautiful and so sparkly in the sunshine, so I wanted to wear this today. It's really hot outside, so I think I'm going to take my hair back for the day. Thank you so much for spending time with me and for watching. Don't forget to subscribe for more beauty tutorials and for more beauty secrets. Be safe in the sunshine and wear your SPF. Until next time, a bientôt!